Hey everybody, it's Clint Powell, and today's episode is brought to you by two great sponsors. One is my friends at JB Millworks. Jeremy Price and his staff do wonderful work. I'm going to tell you how to get a hold of them first. jbmillworks.com, or you can call them at 706-965-6940. And then I'm going to tell you why. You ready? They have great products. They have doors, they have stair parts, trim work, anything you're wanting for remodel or new construction. But they also have beautiful plantation shutters. Make your house look gorgeous. And high quality, energy saving, gorgeous, beautiful sun-clad windows. I know a little bit about sun-clad windows. I know the owner of the company, Frank Anderson, and I'm telling you right now, if you have a home and you're wanting to get the best of both worlds, high energy savings and yet a beautiful wood look on the interior, it is gorgeous inside and outside wood-clad windows from Sun Windows. jbmillworks.com or 706-965-6940. Also, a sponsor of today's episode is Lori Monteith with Keller Williams, or as she is known on Facebook and Google, Team Monteith. Lori started in the real estate industry back when everybody was getting out of it with the great economic downturn. She made the most of it. She pulled through. She does business the right way. And in a world where there's all these multiple offers, houses are not staying on the market long, you're wanting to move or you're wanting to sell, you need someone who has a track record of getting things done. Find out more about her. Team Monteith is on Facebook. You can also Google Lori Monteith, but you can call them at 315-0042, 423-315-0042, or you can find out more at findchattanoogarealestate.com. Enjoy today's episode. Hey folks, Clint Powell here. This is During the Break. Let's do this. Welcome to During the Break podcast. I'm your host, Clint Powell. Thank you for finding us. Do what I ask you to do. Please rate, review, and share us. Today is episode, I can't remember if it's 5 or 6.
Yeah, I could tell you.
Yeah, see, now you said I'm going to back away from the mic. So you did this great mic check, and now you're like, oh, I can't tell you.
I did the mic check really close.
Yeah. So you can either stay close to the mic or talk up. That's my co-host, Coralee. So it's episode 5 or 6.
Wait a second. I'm the co-host now? Yeah. I used to be the guest, and now I'm the co-host
of the dating episodes, 100%.
Oh my gosh, I've been promoted. This is fantastic.
Yeah, you're here. You've arrived.
Thanks.
Pretty much, this is the high point of your life from this point forward.
I feel like it might be. Thanks, partner.
That's sad. Partner. It's just like saying it. So I can't remember. Is this 5 or 6?
I really
think it's 6.
It may be 6.
I think it's the 6th episode you and I have done. We started calling it Dating Over the Age of 30 or 40
or 50.
And then that 50 sounded sad. Dun. Yeah. It's like roller coaster, yay, and the ride's over. That's how this podcast is going to go. All right, so we have tried to do this new episode for a month. We had all these great plans of going out with a girls' night. I got one invite, that's it. And then y'all decided, since I couldn't make it that time because I had other obligations, I've never been invited back. You've come in once and we just talked. We didn't even do the podcast. We sat here for like 40 minutes and then I thought, well, you've got to get to work and I've got to get to work, a real job. And so we're here.
Here we are. And
I know what we'll do. Let's start this way. You got back on Bumble.
I downloaded the Bumble again a couple days ago. So I ditched it. I think at the last podcast we even talked about, I was just over it.
Yeah.
It wasn't doing anything for me.
Okay.
I would occasionally have a little wine and swipe right on a couple people. And then the next morning be like, oh, yeah, I don't want to talk to him. And so they would just
fade away that 24-hour period.
It just wasn't for me. But because I knew that we've been trying to do this podcast for a while.
Right.
I thought I'll give it another go just to have some material, if nothing else.
Right. Yeah.
So I downloaded the Bumble. And lo and behold, it's the same men who were on this app a year ago when I downloaded it the first time.
Yeah.
They're still there. Which I guess they're saying the same thing when they see me pop up again, right?
Yeah, she's back.
Same people here. But it was a little surprising to me because I've been off for several months.
I think once
to go back on and it was the exact same people. These were not people I'd swiped.
No, what I'm saying is I think once you have swiped left on someone more than twice, I think they should just automatically be taken out of your rotation.
Yes.
I'd rather pop it up and have none than have the, oh, I've seen you, nope, seen you, nope. Because they're doing it to me too. Seen you, nope, seen you, nope. You know, I've had no matches in 60 days.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
It was a little.
And I don't check it, to be honest with you. I'll go on once every now and then and swipe like 4 times, and then I won't go back on for 30 days.
Here's what I think's fun, though. When we first started doing this, you had no dating apps.
Okay.
I was the guinea pig.
Yeah.
Now you have not just one dating app.
2 dose.
Are you sure it's not Trace?
I'm positive. Now, there may be one I'm still on from like 2 years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, the only 2 that I am actually check once a month, if I check them, is Tinder and Bumble.
I thought you had Plenty of Fish.
That was 2.5 years ago. I haven't been on that one.
You
I only
just
have
sent me something not long ago.
No, I haven't. If somebody's on there, they've taken my account. I've not been.
No, it wasn't you on. It was like a screenshot you had sent me.
Oh, that's a screenshot I kept from 2 years ago.
Oh.
I had screenshotted one of those. This is my match, they think.
Okay.
And that was before I met the girl I dated for about 1.5 years.
So that was like, dang, Clint, you've got Plenty of Fish too.
No,
look at you out there.
Plenty of Fish. I've not been on Plenty of Fish. It's 2017 probably.
Okay. Well. Anyway, I just thought it was funny. But yeah, it's just interesting to me. Like, I faded off, and then you ramped up really hard here.
And now I'm
with
not.
Multiple,
now
and still
I'm back.
nothing. And still both of us.
When's the last time you've been on a date?
What, you asked me this 4 episodes ago. The same answer.
Yeah, but that was 4 months ago.
Dude, you know the answer to that. I date Louis the Lookout and 3 children. That's the
a baseball
extent
team.
of what I've
Depending
got.
on where you're listening to this, they maybe go, "Who's Louis the Lookout?"
Right.
It's a local baseball team where you work.
Yes.
Yeah.
My full-time gig.
Yeah. You're not a full-time podcast.
No, not
expert.
but I've been promoted to partner now, co-host.
Yeah.
Now, so
that means
this
you get
could
to
be
share
good for me.
All the overhead.
No.
I need some money this month, by the way. I don't know if you know how this works.
Again, I wish we knew some salespeople, right?
Yeah. Or that weren't tired. I'm a salesperson, but I'm a tired salesperson. I want a 30-year-old
talk to me about tired.
Yeah,
don't even.
You're in the middle of a 10-game homestand. Well, not in the middle. You're towards the end now.
Toward the end of a 10-game homestand, but
single mom.
This 10-game homestand is in the middle of the way. So, work for a minor league baseball team. The way our schedule works is the team is in town for 5 days, and then they're on the road for 5 days.
Right.
So the 5 days that they're in town, we come to work at our regular, 9:00 in the morning, and then we stay until the game is over every day.
Right.
So if those games fall on weekends, we also work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday when they're out of town. So we're in the middle of a stint where we're going to do 25 of 26 days in a row that we're going to work.
Yes.
Yes.
That awesome?
Oh, it's incredible. I love it. And in there also, I have kids who have to be at volleyball workouts at 7 a.m.
Single mom. You're a single mom.
Right.
Yeah. How many kids?
3.
3 kids. Let's give ages.
Yeah. They're 12, 14, and 16. So the 16-year-old, he's crushing it. He's driving himself, and he'll help me out with the girls too. But it's still, he's not getting up and taking anybody at 7 a.m. So I'm just tired. I'm whiny.
You are whiny.
I'm whiny,
God,
and I'm
whiny.
Tired.
You are a little whiny.
So who wants to date me now, right? Please take me to dinner so I can complain about how exhausted I am.
Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take me for a dinner and then just let me sleep on your couch for 2 hours.
No.
I don't want any physical contact. I just need
free
a nap.
Food. I need a glass of wine and a nap.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you could babysit me for 3 hours, just make sure nobody breaks in. Let me have a place with dark air conditioning, no noise.
Mm-hmm.
I can have a babysitter for my kids. You babysit me. Done. That's a good date for you.
No. Or just not date, because I don't think that other scenario is very realistic.
I don't know. You never know. Right now, you may get calls going, come crash on the couch.
Right?
Psychos.
Creepers. Every one of them.
Absolutely.
You want someone to let you nap on their couch. Please.
Wait, let me get this straight. You want to drink and then pass out?
Oh.
Absolutely.
It's like college all over again.
Whoa, what school did you go to, young lady? All right, so let's do this. And we'll talk a little bit about dating apps, but because I wanted to, since I knew that we would have so I went on
no
a date.
Actual dating material. I know people who are listening to this, if you came to this podcast because you thought we had some knowledge on how to get dates and where to go on dates, and
the best advice you get in life are from people that don't know how to do it themselves.
No.
Yes.
What?
100%.
You think that because you give a lot of unsolicited advice.
We know how to do it. Ask an unhealthy person how to get healthy. They know how to do it.
Solid point.
They do. They can tell you right now. I just need to stop eating. And if I could get more active, oh, boom, there you go. They just don't do it. I know how to get a date. You know how to get a date.
That's
you
true.
just don't do it.
We just don't practice.
No.
Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
I can't take it that direction. Hey, so what I thought I would do in between us, because we're going to talk about some single parenting issues in a minute too. I'm just going to randomly throw out some statistics from a website I found.
Please do.
59 dating statistics.
Okay.
Everyone but you think everyone but you is out there going on dates. Think again. And I think this is for over age 30. According to the research, and I think they interviewed a couple thousand women for this particular stat. 43% of women have been on zero, not a dates in the last 3 months. And only 20% have been on 1 or 2 dates. So over 50%. Over 50% are going on either between 0 and 2 dates in 3 months' time. So you're kind of the average, Coralee. We're not the weirdos that we think we are.
No. I mean, we might be, but still.
I just think that's 60.
I believe that. I completely believe that. I just think.
Well, and check this out. So now this is another stat following that up. So let's say that those that are going on dates, right? Of the 70% that 70% are only going to go through 0 to 2 dates. So for those that left that are going to go on dates,
okay,
over 2 days, you ready? 67% of women who have been on dates in the past 3 months say that it was not a good fit or a bad experience. So not only are very few people dating, the majority of those that are going on dates are like, this is horrible.
I believe that.
Which I think supports our decision.
I mean, really, unless you're looking for free food and some material
and
for a podcast.
And a nap.
Dude, I'm not napping with anybody. It's funny to talk about, but that's just weird.
I'm going to keep saying it, though.
No.
Okay, let's see. Stressing over whether to offer to pay for a check on the first date. You're a modern woman after all. An Esquire survey found that 51% of women offer to pick up the check.
The whole check?
Don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. That one's interesting to me.
I would not. I would probably not. Unless
I'd want to go Dutch. Like, I'd offer to go Dutch. Like, I'll pay for mine, you pay for yours. But I'm not offering to pick yours up.
Would you go on a second date with a guy that let you go Dutch?
Probably.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if this is totally casual, this is blind, this is maybe I found him on a dating app and we're going out to dinner.
Right.
I would go on a second date with him if we did. I mean, if you kind of liked him and you had good conversation, but you're not sure where it's going to go, then yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I probably.
If he let me buy his food, though, no.
I'd probably just buy the dinner. And because I'm
old. And
I'd
let
though.
you too. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah,
maybe
I'm
that's
old.
a generational thing. Like, I would let you pick up even if I wasn't going to go on another date with you.
Well, you should. That's kind of that's a little chivalry, a little male, Listen to this. If it's been more than 24 hours, there's probably only a 12% chance that he or she will call you back.
If you haven't heard from them within 24 hours.
Over 24 hours, it falls to 12%.
Okay.
That's kind of. So are you the kind of person when you go on a date, if there's not immediate follow-up communication, you kind of like, what were they thinking? Are you a worrywart about that stuff?
I think I probably would be. I don't have any.
You've been on dates. It's not like you've never been on it. It's not like we're talking about, I can't wait to go on my first date. You got 3 kids for the love of Pete. It's not like I'm introducing you to this new concept of going on a date with the opposite sex.
I'd probably want to hear from him, yeah, especially if you hit it off. I mean, I think if it were just where, hey, I like you, we had some okay conversation, I don't not want to see you again, maybe not. But if you had actual chemistry. Did you just use a
double negative? I do not want to not say. I don't know what you said right there.
I don't
understand what you said.
Want to not see you again.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely not. For me, I'm too apparently.
So
I'm
I didn't have dinner with you, and the whole time think to myself, there is no way in hell that I'm seeing.
Wouldn't
this
that
guy
be
again.
just I'm okay with going out again? Let's go out again.
If I'm sitting here the whole time thinking there's no chance that I'm going out with this guy again.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like if we didn't sit there the whole time with that on my brain,
yeah,
we made this too complicated.
Yeah, we used a double negative. You can't use a double negative.
You're reading your phone and halfway listening to me. If this is how you go on dates, you're going to have problems.
100% listening to you. and I'm the one being the moderator, I thought. No. You used a double negative. My point is, there seems to be only two answers. Yeah, I want to go on a date with you again, or no, not really. Right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just saying, as far as the 24-hour, like, is somebody sitting there and watching the clock and trying to determine, oh, it's been 24 hours. We went out at exactly 6:04 yesterday, and it's 6:05 now. I guess I'm not going to hear from him again. Or on the other hand, like, I have to wait until.
So let's ask this. This is. I'll ask you your perspective.
Okay.
You go on a date.
Yes.
I could go on a date with that guy again. That's where your mind is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm dying to go on a date with him again, and I hate his guts. But if he asked, I wouldn't mind. Okay, that's where you're at. The guy, though, is like, I don't want to go on a date with her again. How does he just not call? Is that rude? Is that awkward? Or does he call you and say, listen, I had a good time last night, but I don't want to kind of leave any expectations. I don't want to make any assumptions, but probably not going to call you back. How do you handle that? Because which hurts worse? Because I can tell you right now, if the guy makes a call, there's going to, even if you want to go out with him, there's going to be a little bit, well, I never expected you to go out with me. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
How do you fix that?
I don't know. I think ghosting, which is the first scenario.
Is that what you do?
No. I'm just saying in a ghosting situation where you went on a date, you think it was okay, but you never hear from him again. That sucks.
That
right?
does suck. But here's the guy stuck going, I don't want to go out with her again. And we can flip it. The girl can be going, I don't want to go out with him again. And the guy can be like, I never heard from her. Say, I'm the kind of guy that if I wanted to go out, I'd just call you back up.
Yeah. I guess I've been in both situations. I've done some ghosting. It's not nice. I don't feel very good about myself for it. But
How's this? Coralee doesn't really want to go on a date with the guy, but the guy does. So the next day, rings the phone. Hey, Coralee, this is Clint. I enjoyed our time last night together. Love to take you out next week. What does Coralee do? Do you ghost him? Or do you call him back and go, I'm busy next week? Okay, because then that leads to well, how about the week after that? Next thing you know, you're in this thread
I wish that I could say that I would be completely honest and tell him I don't want to see you anymore, but I would probably just be like, I would probably make an excuse for why I couldn't see him.
But then that strings him along.
And then ghost him from there.
So he's totally crushed.
So then now.
So which hurts? So I'll speak from I don't know which would hurt worse or which would affect my fragile ego.
They both suck. You want to go out with somebody and hope that you have some chemistry and that you're both feeling the same way. I don't think that ghosting is bad. It's not nice. You should be able to just be upfront with people and say, hey, I don't want to go out with them again.
Well, how would you?
I don't want to go out with you again.
Let's talk through how to say that nicer, though. How could I say it? Hey, I had a good time, but I don't think that we should risk it twice.
Risk it? Use the word risk? I guess you would just say, I had a great time. I just don't think that there was chemistry or a spark. I mean, you could just say that. You could be upfront and say that.
Which would you rather hear, Coralee? The ghost? Would you rather hear silence or Clint or Bob or Tom go, Coralee, I didn't really feel there was a spark, but I had a good time as talking with you. But as far as dates, I'm not really sure we're a good fit. Which one would you rather hear?
I mean, they're both saying the same thing. I would rather be told that there just wasn't a spark, that there just wasn't anything there. Because
doesn't that close the door? And then you don't have to.
You get some closure and you can just move past it and you're not sitting there like you don't run into him, when you're out on your next girls' night and think.
You never tell. Well, the other thing is, and you know how we are as human beings, we're very critical of ourselves. And then when the absence of an answer, the vacuum, the void, we'll fill it in with things that probably aren't true. They may have 1,000 things going on, the reason they don't want to go back out, and it could have nothing to do with us.
Or it could have everything to do with us. I mean, either way.
But we if we don't know, we'll fill it in with everything negative. We never go.
Well, I'm not going to call you and say, listen, here's the thing. I didn't like your opinion on this.
No.
And I thought that you weren't quite, as fun as I thought you were going to be. And exactly. I'm looking at 5'10" and a half here. This is not okay.
Don't even try to front with that. I use the word front. I'm bringing it back. Let me try to front.
I just can't even respond to that.
Word.
Stop it.
Now you're starting to see why Clint stays on his deck and doesn't go on dates.
I saw it a long time ago, but you're just solidifying the case.
15 years ago, we were knowing each other word up. Yeah, and you're lonely.
Did you say word up a lot?
I'll say word up right now.
I know
word
you will,
up.
but I'm just at in the word up prime. Was that your go-to?
Not my go-to. I had many go-tos. Word, homie.
Stop. I like it whenever I'm with my kids. And now, have you heard the phrase, what's the tea or spill the tea or what's the tea, sis? So, okay.
No,
so
I'm learning here.
So I guess I don't even know where it originates from. So I probably am not going to do this justice, but there's this phrase and it's about spilling the tea and it's like the gossip or whatever. And so I'll use that with the kids all the time.
Okay.
And they just cringe. I'll be like, what's the tea? Spill the tea now when they're talking to their friends and they're just like, oh God, please stop. And
I do other stuff like that, but I've never heard that one. I'll try that.
Yeah. Try that one. Try that one with your daughter.
Yeah. I'll see how that goes. Yeah. I'll see how that goes.
She's going to roll her eyes at you.
Oh, she rolls her eyes at me anyway.
Or laugh at you.
Yeah.
But it's still fun.
One thing I have learned that kids now use Snapchat and Instagram instant messages as a way to convey emotions on almost a minute-by-minute basis. They take pictures of faces they make, like roll your eyes, like, hey, what are you up to? She'll be taking pictures, and I'll be like, who are you sending that to? Oh, my friends. I'm like, well, they ask what you're doing. They just, what are you doing today? And I'll just roll my eyes or give them a stupid face. And I go, why? She goes, because that just kind of tells them what mood I'm in instead of texting a bunch of words. And I'm like, that's.
People don't use words anymore.
They don't. But now texting is too much. It used to be when we got used to it, we were like phone calls.
Don't call me, just text me.
Well, first it was just phone calls. I just don't know why you don't pick up the phone. And then I'll try texting. And then we were like, texting's awesome.
Only text me.
And now it's pictures, apparently. Now it's just emojis. I just send you a happy face.
I'm pretty good at emojis.
Are you really?
Yeah. I think I am.
There's so many.
My kids think that I'm really bad at it because they think that I use them wrong.
You probably are, according to their definitions. I've seen those.
But in my head, they're perfect. They're so good.
What emojis do you use? What's your go-to emojis that you like the most that you think you're using wrong?
Well, I don't think I'm using any of them wrong. It's the kids that tell me that. But let's see. My go-to emojis on here. I have the laughing emoji. These are my top emojis here because the most frequently used ones are here on the left-hand side. So I've got the laughing face is my very top one. The face palm is my number 2
from you. Yeah.
The head exploding.
I see a lot of angst emojis.
The yoga emoji.
What does he use the yoga for?
And the heart, just to, like woosah, calm yourself down, okay. Like I'm going to chill out right now. Here's my little yoga emoji.
Okay.
Crossed fingers, the shrugged shoulders, blowing a kiss, a heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what emojis are. I mean, how you communicate with them. I did read that there's a couple of emojis that everybody
We do a
wrong.
game now. So at the ballpark, we have an actual between inning contest now that's guess the movie title based on the series of emojis.
That is a cool game.
It's super cool. It's really fun. And we do we'll call a kid up, an adult up or whatever, and they'll stand on the dugout and we'll do like a series of emojis and what is that movie? And it'll be, Iron Man or Wizard of Oz or whatever, just based on whatever the emoji string is. And they get it all the time, but it's really fun. But who would have thought that,
who would have thought it? We're just, I'm going to get more outdated as we go. That's just the way it is. It's called getting old. Yeah, it's fun, but I wouldn't do good at the game. I'd be on the mound going, Gone with the Wind or something.
That was one of them.
Was it really?
See, you would get one right.
Maybe.
I think you could figure it out.
So let's go back. I want to go backwards. Let's get off emojis. I want to go backwards and talk about, because I've got some more statistics we'll bring up in a minute.
Okay.
Hey, folks, don't forget this episode is brought to you by JB Millworks, jbmillworks.com. This is on a serious note. Let's give a little bit. Let's talk the next 3 or 4 or 5 minutes on things that I think a lot of single parents could relate to. The single parent thing that we kind of brushed over, 20 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, that's a real issue. And one of the things that you and I talked about when we were talking about doing another dating episode was we talk about the dating component and how hard it, whatever, the mysterious, the hypothetical situation if we ever go on dates. But the reality that we deal in every day is the single parenthood part of it. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
Wow. Did I just get the yoga emoji?
No, you didn't.
Are you trying to
You didn't. I'm listening to you. It's not easy. It's busy. Life is crazy. And I always have a hard time whining and complaining or whatever, because I know that people have, situations that are much, much worse than mine. I'm very lucky that I have a job where if I do have to work 16 hours a day, my kids can be there with me.
Right.
I'm not tied to a desk, so I can go and watch a ball game and come back to work, or I can go and pick someone up from school and come back to work. So all of those things, I'm very fortunate to have those. But it makes it hard. It makes it busy. You feel like you're torn in 10 different directions, right? So I'm trying to give 100% at my job, but I can't, because I do have to leave and go and pick someone up because they have to be picked up somewhere. I can't give 100% to my kids because 5 afternoons in a row, we're not going to be at home for me to cook dinner and help you with homework, or, work on some kind of project that you've got, or even just play in the backyard with you because I have to be at work. So you feel like you're not giving everything there. So when I'm already pulling myself in multiple directions as far as that goes, how am I going to give a piece of myself to another person?
Yeah. And I also, even when you're married, that's tough. But if you're a single parent, one of the things, and I'm lucky, well, I'm not lucky because I wish he was still younger, but my son is, 20 now. But a couple years ago, when he was still a little more dependent on dad because he was kind of, either was out of the car sometimes because of decisions or whatever. But I always felt like I was either getting ready to leave or getting ready to go, getting ready to come back. I'm either getting back in where was I when I left? And I've got an hour and a half. I've got to start getting ready in 15 minutes. My alarm's going off. So it's not like there was big chunks of time where it was just, I'm 100. Now I'm not saying there wasn't, but it just seems so rare that I'm all
feels
dad.
So rushed, right?
Yeah.
You just feel like you're going constantly. And when you have multiple kids, that's the case a lot of times too, because one's got a game here, one's got a project here, one wants to go to a friend's house across town, and you're just going. And I feel like
you have to start prioritizing, and you don't want to say no. You have to.
You want them to have a childhood. You don't want to use the excuse all the time, well, I have to work, so we can't do this. But
I found, for me personally, it was okay. There's a difference, I think, between dumping on your kids your emotional stress and actually having honest conversations with them. I found it worked for Clint, at least, to sit down at times and go, listen, this week is stupid. It's just a dumb week. Mm-hmm. That means these two things are not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Now, this may change, and if it does, these two things will happen again. But I'm telling both of you right now that these other 5 things, yes, we're all in. But these two aren't going to happen. And I want to have a conversation about it now if we need to. So I'm saying no now, so I'm not going to keep going, we'll see, because that led to, hey, Dad, what do you think? Dad, can we? Dad, am I going to be able to? So I just started where I would just tell them up front, hey, guys, it's Sunday night. The stuff on Wednesday and Thursday, out. Not going to happen. And let them be upset about it. And they got over stuff.
They do get over it. I mean, I'm pretty frank about everything, and they know what we've got going on. They know what my schedule is for work. They know what they've got going on as far as, sports and activities, things like that. It just feels busy all the time. And then also when you talk about from a single parent perspective, you've got everything going on in your brain constantly. And I think that that's where I get caught up, and that's where I feel like I'm missing a lot of times is, I just, not only do I have to keep up with, these are all the places they have to go and the things that they have to do, who needs to go to the doctor and who has to get a physical, and trying to keep up with making sure
practices and
I'm talking about activities, but also thinking about things like, their emotional state. So like, what's going on with the 14-year-old right now in her life that I need to pay a little bit more attention to and be in tune to.
Which you can't do that part
passing right all the time. So trying to find a little bit of time to spend with them, just to know them, just to make sure that they know that you're there and you're present with them.
Right.
And I found it's really funny. I was telling a friend the other day, you always think about whenever they were toddlers and they woke up early in the morning and they were just going. You're like, geez, Louise, I want to sleep in. Well, now it's teenagers talk at night. And so I'll find that I've got, my 16-year-old the other night, he and I stayed up until it was after 2:00. He works at the ballpark where I work now. And so we'd gotten home. We were both so tired, but the girls were at camp and it was just he and I, and he started talking.
And you're not shutting that down.
No way.
Yeah.
And so as exhausted as I was, we sit there for hours and him just talking. And we talked about everything, life and girls and jobs and family. And he showed me, part of his collection of knives and this new trick that he could do, and talked about his friend and just everything. And trying to keep up with those things, I think, is hard. And the next morning I felt so good. I'm exhausted, but I felt so good because I'm like, gosh, that's that quality time.
That's probably the most productive thing you did that day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where you feel like that's that quality time that I feel like I miss out on. Those are the things that I feel like I don't have time for.
But I also think sometimes it goes the other way. If you're too familiar, breeds contempt. In other words, if you're always around him, then you may have never had that. He may have never been able to share with you that way because y'all had something in common. We're both tired. We've both been at work. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of both of your guards were down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you kind of look at it and go, well, we have ever really had that kind of conversation. I always look at it as apps. And I said this when I had Ed Jones on, apps on your phone. If you can, you right now, if you have 9 apps on your phone, one of them by themselves won't drain your battery too bad. But you have 9 of them, they're going to pull from you.
Oh, nice analogy.
Well,
that's really good. That's so true.
It's work. And each kid, I don't mean this in a bad way because we're an app to them. We're opening up their channel. Mm-hmm. But each kid has their own specific need from us. Then you have the bills. Then you have the dogs. And then you have cleaning the house. And you have the car.
Yes.
And so you flip it around and do I have a room to open up?
Yes.
Do I have another room for another app called boyfriend or girlfriend or a date? And I think that's why sometimes single parents move to the phone and they may never really engage. It's because when I have time to not do anything, I'm going to spend it on apps that are the most important or no app. I'm going to,
I don't decompress for a minute, right?
But I can go on my phone and be super engaging and really do it while I'm having my wine on the deck or my whiskey on the porch, whatever yours is. That's the name of our new podcast we got to start.
What?
Wine on the deck.
I thought we were going to do a booze cast where we just sit and have drinks and talk.
Let's. If you're going to throw that out there for the public to hear, one of us had shown up for the booze cast. The other one had backed out.
Oh, I'm sorry. The other one had a family obligation that came up.
I get it. One of your apps opened up.
One of my apps absolutely opened up.
One of us was actually en route, whatever you want to say, with his Jameson. And the other one.
You still drank it by yourself, though, didn't you?
You just leave me. I did a podcast that never get aired. It was awesome. And I'll tell you what else.
Facebook Live with Clint. Hey.
Let me tell you what I think. And then.
It's so true, though. It's all the apps. It's everything running. It's like you said, it's not just the kids and the job. It's the house and the bills. And it's the keeping up with everything and knowing when everything's due and everything that needs a tune up and everything that needs a check up and having it all in your head at one time.
Well, you want to be...
You can't focus on one thing.
You want to be the best mom. You want to be the best friend, the best daughter.
You
want to be the best employee.
Have the clean
best
house.
Co-worker. And when fans run into you or people at the Lookouts game, you want to be the best representative of the Lookout. So you got all these areas, and sometimes we forget to be the best to us. We forget to orchestrate time to where do we take care of Coralee?
Yep.
Where do we take care of you? How do you take care of yourself? And I know we laugh about, the wine on the deck, but technically speaking, I almost looked at that's where your scars kind of heal. That's where things start coming back together a little bit, not because of the wine.
Maybe, and it's funny, just, us sitting here talking, it made me think, but maybe the taking care of yourself part, that's where you do have to fit the dating in there a little bit, because part of taking care of yourself is making sure that,
I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking about it like, there's that little bit of time. Would you want to share it with someone else? But then on the flip side of that, then they're also going to be, something that you're thinking about when you've got all the apps open.
Are they going to call you tomorrow? Then all of a sudden you got to worry about that. They're going to call you tomorrow?
So, yeah. Then you're adding one more thing.
How many times when you went on a date, when you were going dates, did you have a date planned and you would hope they'd call and cancel? You'd be like, you know what? I was okay if I don't go out tonight. It wouldn't bother me a bit if they just said, nah, I can't make it tonight.
It didn't actually happen with dates because there weren't enough of them, but that happens with girls' nights all the time. You talk about oh, we only invited you on the one girls' night. Dude, I think that's really the only girls' night that we had.
Right.
Because we're all so busy. We can't make it. And it's, oh, Friday, we're going to go and have drinks because, the stars have aligned and we don't have kids and we're going to go and do it. And then 4:00 Friday rolls around and everybody, they've all been going 90 miles an hour all week. And the same thing happens. And it's like, nah, I'm kind of tired. I'm probably just going to go home. And everybody goes, phew, thank goodness.
Do you ever do FaceTime? Do y'all
FaceTime girls night? Yeah. No, we haven't done that before.
Why don't y'all just come crash on your deck and drink wine together?
Everyone lives so far apart. If it was a neighbor. No, I'm with you. In a perfect world, we would all live in a little commune and raise our children
just
together.
Do FaceTime and just have your phones out, drinking wine, talking to your girls.
That's what my kids do all the time.
There you go.
I'm like, who are you talking to in your room right now? And it's, the phone's up and there are a couple friends on there and they're just walking around their room, folding laundry, doing whatever. And some other person is doing the same thing in their room with the phone up. It's very funny to me. I don't understand that at all. But
you want to go back to a few statistics?
Let's do it.
And then, I don't know about this one. Oh, ugh. Okay. If you're trying to decide, okay, I'm not going to phrase it that way. Let me just see if I can reword this. 1/3 of women who use online dating have had sex on the very first date. On the first date off online. Well, I mean, that's okay. I don't care.
I believe it.
Back in the day when you would go to bars, it was probably the same thing. Yeah, but nowadays we go, how could you do that with somebody you met online? Yeah, but meeting them at Bud's is much better. Yesterday's is much better. Okay. Let me know how that works out for you.
Was that the same over 30 statistic too?
I don't know.
Or is that just dating in general?
Maybe just dating in general, but I'm not sure because this is the same website. Let's see.
I always joke with my coworkers. We joke about hookups and things like that and whatever. And I always joke, that's really the only thing I'd have time for, just being funny.
Right.
But maybe that's some of that statistic. It's just like, I don't have time for anything else.
Well, I think that's where we
hoping for a little human interaction. Swipe right.
By the way, I'm not going to say that. By the way, that if they call the next day, great. If they don't, you're okay with that.
I mean, you probably had an intention with that, and more power to you.
90 miles away.
Gas in the car. Let's go.
Why do you keep swiping right on 90 miles away? Huh. I don't know. Hey, our research found that over 51, and I say our research, not yours and mine. So if people are listening to this podcast, 51% of people in relationships dated their partner for more than 3 months before they agreed to commit to one another. I guess exclusively.
Okay.
That makes sense to me. Let's see what else we got here. 66% of women who responded to the survey, and I think there was 3,000 or 4,000, said they are single. So 66% of women who responded to the survey are single.
Why were they asking? I guess because they wanted relationships statistics from the other people.
Right. 42% of people live alone, according to the survey. 10 years ago, that was 39%. So more and more people are living alone. And more, younger people aren't getting married. And they're not driving cars, and they're not buying houses like they used to. Those are statistics I did off other radio shows I do. I found that. Yeah.
What else you got?
Not much, really. I'm looking through statistics. Is dating? Listen what this one says. No, see, this one doesn't even give a statistic. This is just this is terrible. It's the question is dating harder in your 30s? And it basically just goes through like narrative of yes, because your friends are. It's a depressing. There's no statistic.
Exactly what we've talked about 6 times now. It's. In your 30s, it's just a difficult, especially late 30s, it's just a difficult time. Everyone's still married or they're single because they've, for the most part, I mean, not everyone, but chosen to be single. They want to be single or they're just really bad at relationships.
Yeah.
And so, you become the
Jaded.
Anomaly, the divorcee who...
I don't know. I think when you get to be my age, there's so many people who have been through marriages, 2 marriages, and divorced. Because I'm way older than you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like once you get to that point, 45 and older or whatever, kids are grown for the most part, and they're out, and whatever's going to happen with with your marriage, or you've gotten past that point of I'm really bad at relationships and you finally figured out what's going on, or I just...
So let me ask you this.
I feel like from a female's perspective that men in their late 30s, early 40s, if they've just gotten divorced or if they're the perpetually single guys, they still want to play. That they're at an age where they still want to play, especially ones if like they got married whenever they were in their early 20s and they've been in a relationship.
That goes women. More women file for divorce than men do. That's the majority of divorces are initiated by the woman.
Well, but I think it's because men are complacent. Men are probably miserable too. They're just waiting on her to make the move. I genuinely believe that's the case.
See, and I look at it as a lot of times men fall in one of two categories. Men are who they are. They're going to stay that way, right? I'm going to hunt no matter what. We can have 5 kids. I'm going hunting. Hunting's my thing. I'm using hunting. It could be rugby.
That's fine. And
it's not fine.
Well, it's not fine at all. I'm just saying, but that's the reason they're not filing.
Well, but my issue is what I was saying is that's one way a man goes. The other way I think a man goes is I'm going to become everything she wants me to be. So whatever you need, I'm going to be. And then what happens on both of those, a woman, if they are continually growing and changing, loses respect for both of them. Because if you're going to be who you are and you're never going to make allowances that I need help, then you're an ass. And if you're going to become everything I want and a doormat, then I lose respect for you because I don't want that. That's not who I probably fell in love with. So I think there's a fine line coming from a man's perspective. Mm-hmm. It is a hard rope to walk, or it's a hard line to walk to actually learn to grow to be the best version of you. Because if I try to become the best version for my mate, I'm going to be miserable. And if I just say I am who I am and you can accept me and I'm never going to be different than I was 20 years ago, then either way we've outgrown each other. We've grown apart. I think it's a fine dance to actually stay caring about the other person enough to say, I'm going to become the best version of who I am with you in mind.
Right. And you have to do it together, though.
That's what I'm saying.
It's both of you growing and changing together. But I just feel like men, and it could be, we look up statistics about, the nature of, Mars versus Venus and men and women and that thing. And I think that men are very comfortable. And it's, you know what? I've got a job. We've got a house. Kids are doing fine. Yeah. There's food on the table. We have sex once a week. Bills are paid.
What do you do?
Life is grand, like there's nothing there. But she's miserable because there are, 25 other things in there where she's handling, everything that the kids are doing, and she's handling keeping the house clean, and she's made the dinner. And
there are men out there that are the flip of that, though.
I believe it. Yeah. I absolutely believe it. But I think that a lot of times, even if the man is miserable throughout all of that, like, we don't like each other, we're constantly bickering and arguing, but it would just be so much work to file for divorce to get out of this.
Right.
One, I'm going to look like a bad guy, Two, it's just a lot of effort. I think that men just get complacent. And
see, I listen to you and I agree, except I think both get complacent. And I think what happens is a woman will go and start working on herself, mm-hmm. and a guy will go and try to think everything's status quo. And what I think we both miss is that it's going to take work to stay in a relationship and it takes work to leave a relationship. It just depends on where you want to put the work in at.
I guess. I think women are just more, and I think women are just more apt to go and actually move on the fact that we're miserable.
Oh, yeah.
Men we'll hang out and we'll hang in there because we're tough and we're men and that's what we do and we stick it out.
Yeah.
And women are like, forget this. I'm miserable. I'm unhappy. If I'm going to do it all by myself, I'm going to be by myself when I do it all by myself. And I think I hear that a lot just.
And I've run in circles where I know there's guys that have been more of the caretaker and done stuff. And so, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think you can always find exceptions to the rules.
You can. I'm just thinking on, with that statistic about women file for divorce more than men do. I just really think that that's the reason. I think they're both miserable.
Yeah, well, yeah, probably.
I think in those situations, there is 90% of the time, both parties have been miserable for a long time. It's just the woman finally going and making the move. Well, and
and again, I know we're making distinctions between male and female, but I think these distinctions can blur lines really fast. It's the chicken or the egg. Does the misery come first or does the lack of communication come first? Because more than likely, well before Clint gets miserable, Frank gets miserable, Coralee gets miserable, Sue gets miserable, insert name here, way, way before that, there have been red flags, there have been moments we could have conversations, and there's never a good moment to tell someone, hey, can we do this? Can we work on this? And you may have. I'm not saying, you may be listening to this going, well, I tried. I'm not saying you didn't. I'm just saying a lot of times men are oblivious to those moments when they should probably be more listening and going, hey, that's a red flag. And I think women sometimes are maybe a little less direct and think, I wish that they would read me. Don't they understand?
I agree with that.
And I think both of them are going, I don't think either one of them have ill intent.
I don't think they have ill intent. I think that definitely men and women, they process the things that are going on with them much differently. I think that women, we've talked about this before, as far as
Julie
going,
Bumgarner in here.
Yeah, and as far as going to therapy and trying to get help with your relationships, women are more apt to do that, to where men are like, whoa, I don't want to show weakness. I'm not going to go to therapy because that would be weakness on my end. And so at that point, you're not growing together. You're not working on it together.
Let's just keep doing more of the same thing.
Yes. And so that at that point, that's the woman has to make a decision. Am I going to keep pushing him, or am I just going to go?
Hey, folks, don't forget, this episode is also brought to you by Team Monteith with Keller Williams. Find ChattanoogaRealEstate.com. I shared this with you before, and I'm pretty open about it. I went to therapy immediately. I had 2 therapists after a divorce because I wanted to get healthy really as fast as possible, or try to start the process, because I didn't initiate it, and I was kind of like different worlds, right?
Right.
But I had a buddy of mine 6 months ago. He's 7-8 years younger than me, and he's kind of going through a rough spot, and he started asking my advice. I just listened to him. And then finally he made the mistake of going, so what do you think? And I asked him, I said, do you really think what I want to know what I think? I said, go to therapy. And he gave me, the next 5 minutes was his telling me why they didn't really need therapy. And I said, okay, then. I said, well, what's your answer? He goes, well, man, I just told her we need to do more date nights. I said, maybe the date nights suck. He just looked at me. He goes, what? I said, if just being more of you worked, you probably wouldn't be in this thing, because just the little bit she was getting, she would be like, I'm happy with that. Can you just give me some more?
Right.
Doing more of something that's not fulfilling is not the answer. Mm-hmm. Go figure out why you, as my buddy, what you are. Because you right now, I could ask some questions. You don't have any goals above what you're doing tomorrow. You don't have all these things that are supposed to be doing as a human being. You've just kind of put on the back burner. And she's probably looking at you going, yeah, I want to hang out with that more. Seriously.
No, I'm with you. I think it's...
And he's thinking the same of her. He's thinking the exact same thing.
And to be able to go to a third party and just sit down and them give you, why don't you try this? Or just to be able to have them listen and ask questions that make you think and make you go, oh, maybe I should try, doing this instead of what I was doing before. I think having that third party, that unbiased opinion, that someone else, because you can go hash out to your girlfriends and they're going to tell you just what you want to hear. They're going to be on your side 100%, and they're not going to give you. And dudes are going to do the exact same thing. Man, screw her. Yeah.
Dude, does she know how hard you do this? And does she look at that and you're like, you know what? She doesn't. My buddy told me one of the worst things you can do if you're a married woman or man is either be friends with somebody that's single and all that, or be friends with somebody who's miserable in a marriage. Try to find, this is going to sound cheesy, but if you really want your marriage to last, try to find people who are happily married and associate with them. First of all, you'll see good mentoring, especially if they're a little older than you. You'll see what it's supposed to look like. And when you do start confiding in them, you're probably going to hear decent, healthy responses other than confirmation of, you know what, Coralee, you're exactly right. Well, maybe Coralee's not exactly right. Well, maybe Clint sucks.
That's really hard, though. What do you do when you're the single friend?
That's right.
Nobody wants to hang out with you anymore.
Well, but no, there's 60% of people are single. You're okay. Well, but
there's 60% of the population I can hang out with.
But maybe it's okay. Let's go back to that, because I think maybe it's the if you're hanging out with single people only. I'm not saying you can't have single friends, but if you're married and your 5 best friends are all single and they're living the single life. I'm sorry that my advice would be like, why are all your friends single? That's only a matter of time before you start looking at them going,
the grass is much greener over there. Yeah. I can see that. I think, having a good mix.
I'm not saying have no single friends.
But there's, I don't know, I guess trying to figure out the different personalities, but having a healthy mix of friendships is good. But then too, when you get to a certain age, like our age, you're going to have, maybe the one couple who split up. And so then what do? Do you just not be friends with them anymore because I'm not going to be friends with the single person?
Oh, no. I don't think that. But like I said, that's why I kind of went back and restated it. I think if you've got a good mix of friends, that's fine. But let's just take if they're married or single. If you've got someone who is constantly talking about how bad marriage is, and you're in a married situation, and they're not supporting the idea of going to get healthy. If you're in an abusive relationship, that's different. I'm just saying, if every time I'm complaining about my wife or husband, and my friends are all going, you're right, I'm probably not hanging out with the right people. Unless they're doing something physically or manipulatively abusive to me. If I'm surrounding myself with people who are encouraging me to break up a family without going to get it fixed first, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't think you should be surrounding yourself with people who are just going to make it easy for you to run.
No, I'm with you there. I'm not that friend, so everybody can still hang out with me.
That's what I'm saying, though. Never thought you'd be that person. but I think it's tough. And then, we'll wrap it up.
And then you think about the perpetually single crowd, right? There are the people who are just, that's what they do. They go out on the weekends. And I see that on the dating app. Anytime I see, at this point, never married, no kids, and every picture is them on some kind of adventure or, out at a club or whatever. I think that doesn't mix with me. That's not going to work with my lifestyle. They're not going to be interested in me because I'm going to be boring. And I'm not going to be interested in them. And
what stories you're going to share?
None.
Hey, Frank got sick the other night and threw up everywhere.
Yeah.
Really? I met this guy named,
we're
Dominique.
Going out on the lake and we're going to do this and we're going here and we're going to do that and whatever. And be like, well, I'll be at the ballpark this day. And then I'm going to be at a track meet this day.
But you know what, though? We've talked about this, though. Those friends, it's okay to have those friends. But as you get older, and we just talked about all these apps.
You just know that they're going to live a different life than what you're living,
and they're going to be on maybe a second ring.
You get some really fun
ring.
stories out of them, but not necessarily want to live that life.
I hang out with them once every couple months. We touch base. We love each other. We care about each other, but we understand. And then the ones that I have more stuff in common with, they are the ones that are kind of in my inner circle. That's part of life. That's part of life. I've had friends that after I got a divorce that literally, I'll be honest with you. If you were to ask me, we're dying, we're ride or die, right? That's my buddy. They're gone. I hadn't talked to them 2.5 years.
Oh wow.
Maybe once or twice. Yeah. They had to pick a side. Had to pick a team. I think, and that's okay. And I've got other friends that go, well, man, and I'm like, look, it is way easy to sit back and tell somebody else or to hold a grudge against them. That's life. You have to, as you get older, they have just as, this is what I told my buddies. They have just as many apps open as I do.
They're just different apps.
And you're not the same. If you really, truly believe the crap we say, life's a book and every chapter is different, just because they're not as heavily involved in this chapter does not mean they are not a vital part of my book.
There you go.
That's life.
That's it.
And my life's way too good to sit there and hold grudges against them. If I called them up right now this second and said, I am in desperate need, they'd be coming through the door hot and heavy.
Sure.
Absolutely. That's just life. But that goes with all your friends.
It does.
Do you have friends, Coralee?
I do. I have really good friends.
Why don't you invite them over to your deck and drink wine then?
Well, I do.
But they can't come?
Every once in a while, like I said, the stars will align. We'll all be able to get together. But I do. I have a really, I have my really close friends.
Isn't that cool,
I have,
though?
And there's the really close inner circle, but then I have a ton of people just right outside that we're good friends. We just are very busy in our lives, doing different things, but we'll all go to a concert next month, or if we see each other. It does. You have a really good time and you pick up where you left off. Everything's great. You just don't see them as frequently as some of the others. So,
and when it comes down to it, if I got to spend time with someone I don't know through a dating app, or a friend that I've been a friend for 10 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I hadn't seen them in 2 months, I'm probably going to hang out with my buddy.
I've got a Saturday where I don't have anything going on, and this friend is having a barbecue at their house.
Or I got to tell Clint about my cousin. How many cousins do you have? 6. Oh my God, why am I here with you?
No, yeah, it's absolutely, you're going to want to do that. So, and then you just hope that there's some other random single friend that they have that they bring to their barbecue.
Okay, so I got to do this. We're going to wrap it up with this conversation, okay? Blind dates.
Okay.
For the third time in 6 months, I've had somebody say, hey, dude, would you go on a blind date?
Would you?
I told him no.
What? Why?
I would
totally go on a blind date. I would absolutely go on a blind date. I think that going on a blind date would probably be easier for me than knowing who I'm going to go out with.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He goes, my wife, they're married. He goes, my wife has somebody that she thinks you get along great with. He goes, and I asked him, I said, what's the scoop? And he said, would you go before I start diving into it? And I went, no, I'm not. I've already turned it down.
Call him back.
No, I'm not calling back.
Do it. Why would you not do it?
Why? It required me to leave the house. But I just didn't know if you would go on a blind date.
I would absolutely do it. I think that would be so much. I don't have to make effort. I don't have to sit there.
You're still going to shower and stuff, right?
I'm just saying as far as sitting there and trying to figure out am I going to like them? Well, maybe I have no upfront.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute, Miss Open-Minded. Just chill. I got a question for you. You ready? Clint comes to you and says, hey, Coralee, would you go on a blind date with my friend? You're going to say yes without asking me any questions?
No, I would have a couple questions that I would ask.
What are the questions you're going to ask? Because I'm
how tall is he?
So I was thinking somebody walks up to your door at 5'5", you're going to be like, this is not going to be a good night, period.
If you were my friend, you wouldn't set me up with that person in the first place there.
Oh, that's true.
So.
Dang it.
Yeah.
I thought I had you.
Nope.
But you would have some questions.
That would be it. I would have very few questions.
What would they be?
It would be about how tall are they?
Uh-huh. Looks are important.
Looks are important, but I genuinely think that the reason that I would go out with someone that you would set me up with is because I trust that someone, what I would be looking for in a person. You wouldn't set me up with someone who is,
creeper,
shorter than me or a creeper
no
or
job. Yeah.
Yeah, no job or just any of these things that we talk about all the time. The same thing with my girlfriends. If my girlfriends come to me and they're like, I work with this guy, you've got to meet him, we're going to double date at dinner or something like that, I would absolutely do it because I trust that they have my best intentions in mind and they're not just going to send me out with some creeper so that I have a miserable time.
Have you set it up with girlfriends before, like text me at this time so I can get out if something goes wrong? Have you done that?
No, I've never done that. I'd love to do that though. That'd be so fun.
Put me down as your thing. Like if you're going on a date, call me up, say, all right, Clint.
Dude, I should do that. And then you show up at the place and act like you're my actual person and like you're going to just
say, I got to get
lay
out
them out. Yeah. That would be amazing.
And then get my ass whipped. You're blind date. You're younger than me. He's 37, Taekwondo champion, beats the crap out of old dude. And I have to tell that story. I'm not really.
You're like, I got a video, Clint. Don't worry.
This is great podcast stuff, though.
It would
Clint,
be.
what happened to your eye? I was your wingman.
Thanks, partner.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate that.
No, I'd totally do a blind date. That would be so much easier, I think, than sitting and flipping through people on an app and scrutinizing every little thing about them and wondering, why did you write this or why are you wearing that? Or there's just
who's that other person in the picture?
Exactly. But I mean, I'm a thinker and I think too much into things. So that would alleviate a lot of stress for me. A lot of people couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. I probably have friends who couldn't do a blind date. They're just not interested.
I've been on before when I was young. I just don't want to do it now. But yeah.
That for me, that's one less app I have to open.
You hear that?
I just walk out.
Coralee's friends, she's open to blind dates. I bet you're going to have some dating conversation next time we do the podcast. Your friends are going to set you up as a blind date.
One tried to set me up.
Why didn't it work?
The guy wouldn't go out with me. I'm serious. I've been rejected a few times.
I've got an idea then. Let me finish this up, this question. So let's say they say, you say yes. Do you ask their name?
No.
Okay, because you don't want to look them up.
It's not a blind date if you're asking.
Well, it used to be.
I mean, I would know their name. It would be, they would say, you're meeting John for dinner at this place or whatever.
You're not going to Facebook them and see what they look. Okay.
I would not do it.
You think you could resist the temptation?
I think I could. If we're going tomorrow and you tell me today, then I can resist the temptation.
Oh, so you're going to date tomorrow. You know you got to plan it with being a single mom?
No, I have to
can't
plan.
just
I'm
do
just
one
kidding.
tomorrow.
I'm just being silly. Like if it was just the next day, there wouldn't be much time to fester over it.
The other thing that a little frustrated me about the podcast is that you promised we'd have a mystery guest. I promoted it and your mystery guest and you backed out on that one too. So are we ever going to get your mystery guest in here?
Yes.
Okay. That's a crappy answer for a podcast.
I'm just saying I'll do it. It's just we've had a little trouble getting it together here. So I don't want to string someone else along like I do you.
Yeah, screw Clint. I don't care.
Let's meet Tuesday. It's Monday afternoon. I can't do Tuesday.
Monday would be a great notice. I get notices the day of.
Stop
hey, I know
it.
We're supposed to meet at 1, but it's 12:30. Can we do tomorrow? No, we can't do tomorrow. I've got Got stuff to do.
Whatever, you don't. You're sitting here in the studio hoping I'll show up. That's it.
With my Jameson. Just if you don't show up, I can have fun on my own. Are you glad you did this? Because when you came in for the podcast, you were a little, I don't know if we have anything to talk about. We've done an hour, right at an hour.
Yeah.
Are you happy?
You and I always have good conversations.
Yeah.
I can always sit and talk to you.
Yeah.
You know, whether we're entertaining and people want to continue listening to us, I don't know.
Do you
But
feel
I'll always
better?
sit and talk to you. Yeah, I feel fine. I mean, I don't know if I feel better or whatever. I came in, I'm exhausted because I worked until freakishly late and then woke up freakishly early, and I'll continue to do that for 25 more days. But
oh, you don't get off Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday we'll be off. But
how about Monday?
My daughter's in a ball tournament.
No, I don't want to get you depressed.
No, it's okay. No, let's talk about my schedule. Let's do, please.
No, let's don't.
No, we won't.
I think we talked enough
We
about
won't.
busy
It's good.
schedules.
I'm very thankful.
You're blessed.
I'm very thankful
to do stuff.
that
You don't
I get
have
to do
to
those
stuff.
things with them.
All right.
It's true.
Transparency. I said that to her before when we started the podcast. I went, in life, you've got to stop saying I've got to, and you've got to start saying I get to. And she rolled her eyes at me. Damn bumper sticker. Whatever. Shut up with that noise.
Thanks, Dr. Phil.
Yeah, that's what she said. Just quit trying to Dr. Phil me.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. All right.
No, we're good. We're good. I appreciate your advice and your feedback.
I'm just trying to say something that makes you happier.
It's whatever helps you focus on me instead of you. That's
yeah. Next time we'll talk more about why you're not dating, Coralee. And how's your dating life going, Clint? We're talking about Coralee. Let's stay on topic. Let's stay focused.
Every time.
Let's try in the next maybe 4 weeks to get a mystery guest.
Okay.
Because you've told me she has great stories.
She does.
There you go. There's our commitment then.
So we'll either have a mystery guest with stories, or I'll send you on a blind date and we'll tell your stories.
So would you go on a blind date for the purposes of this podcast?
Yep.
If I set you up with somebody, you would do it. You're regretting it. Look at your face turning red. Oh my goodness.
No, I would do it. I think I would do it.
Okay, cool. I'm now gonna go shopping.
Don't do anything stupid though, Clint. Seriously.
I'm not gonna do. We went from, if you would have set me up, I would trust you because you know me and you're
I
not
know,
gonna
but
do
now
anything.
you're
And
all.
now you're like,
now I can see the wheels turning, and you're going to do something crazy. It's not just going to be some former roommate that comes back around. And you're like, oh, this would be perfect for Coralee.
I haven't had a roommate since I was 26.
No, you're going to run into some leprechaun at the buy-low and be like, oh, dude, you got to go out with my friends.
What are you, about 4'9"? Come here a minute. Is that a green hat you're wearing? I love your red beard. Come here. Here's my friend. You're going to meet her tomorrow night.
Hey, Coralee, wear heels.
The big ones. I want you to be 6'2"-ish. Because how tall are you? What, 5'9", 5'8", something like that? 5'9", yeah. With heels, you're 6'1", 6 foot, something. Just depends on what heel it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so we'll do this again 3 or 4 weeks. We'll get a mystery guest, or one of us will report on a blind date, probably Coralee. And until then, are you okay with ending this thing? Are we good?
Yeah, I'm good.
We're gonna wrap it up.
Let's do it.
We've done an hour. We're done. I feel better. I feel like I got a lot of stuff out. I feel like I've talked about dating without having to go on dates, which is the best of both worlds.
It really is.
Thank you for listening. Share it, rate us, review us. Go back and listen to all the past episodes at duringthebreakpodcast.com. And we will talk to you next time with more great advice that you should take, but we don't have to. Thanks for listening to During the Break. If you like this episode, share it with your friends. If you have a few minutes, please rate and review the podcast on iTunes to help us reach a larger audience. Also, like our Facebook page and check out our website, duringthebreakpodcast.com. If I haven't asked too much already, join us again next time on During the Break.